drivers. Welcome to Rolling 18 Podcast Trucker Briefing Room. I haven't had very many briefings lately because there's not a lot going on. Basically the same old rhetoric every single day, how, we need all kinds of different things done. We drivers that have been on the road for a very long time, we know what needs to be done. And until we start coming up with solid answers, and until there are certain things that are completed completely, instead of all this talk, there's not going to be a lot of briefings going on. They started off powerful with Sean Duffy and the FMCSA doing all kinds of things for big truckers and stuff like that, but nothing's really crossing the finish line, if you know what I mean. There was a gentleman the other day, I believe 3 days ago, Big Rig Nation put out a TikTok talking about social engineering on truckers. I want you to hear this clip, and then I want to read some responses, especially from a guy by the name of Fred on TikTok. His username is FRED. And then he was responded to by a man called Creating My Dream Home. And I'll get into that here in a minute. But let me play this real quick by Big Rig Nation. And you guys tell me what you think.
When did the cab of an American semi-truck become a laboratory for social engineering? Now, you're not imagining it. There are drivers right now, men and women with millions of miles of experience that are being watched, recorded, and scored inside the cab that they live in. Think about that. You spent 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years learning how to handle an 80,000 pound missile in snow, ice, mountains, real conditions. And now a machine is judging you. Not another driver, not someone who's actually been out here in the slush at 3 a.m., a system, an algorithm. This isn't about safety. What this is about is control.
Now, he talks about this as if, there's all kinds of things going on. Now, we know why they put a dash cam in a semi. A lot of people pull out in front of trucks, they get into accidents, it's he said, she said, blah, blah, blah. The dash cam says, okay, this is where the front of the hood of the truck is, and this is where the car is, and this is what happened. It pretty much says that. Then they started to want to put reverse cameras in, to where you have front, the angle of the position of the truck, and then the position of the driver to make sure the driver isn't looking down at the cell phone and everything. Now they're mixing AI into the loop with all kinds of different things that these drivers have to go through. And Fred put an interesting answer on there, and it clicked in my mind like there was no tomorrow. Fred said, you are missing the point to Big Rig Nation. You're missing the big picture. The trial lawyers have convinced everyone they can become millionaires overnight for any collision with a tractor trailer. Now, I know this to be true because I've seen the signs, especially down in Texas. Texas is the biggest hater. Their lawyers hate truckers more than anybody on the planet. But it says video is necessary to fight the claims filed. I have seen $30 million lawsuits settled for $125,000 because we had video to prove what happened. A lot of them get dismissed for $0. Don't blame the employer or the insurance company. Now, I'm going to put my 2 cents in, and I'm going to say, yeah, you can put a little blame on the employer. You can put a little bit of blame on the insurance company, and you can also put blame on the four-wheeler. What you can't do is put the blame on the driver, not because of the accident, but because of the different types of concerns that a driver may have with all these front-facing, rear-facing, and AI algorithm type things that they're starting to use with drivers. It's getting so pathetic out there, people don't want to drive anymore. Creating My Dream Home came on and said, it's not just the outward-facing cameras, Fred. We know that is a good thing. The rest is not. And then Fred responded to that by saying, do you really think staff wants to sit and watch videos? They have other things to do. They are charged with following up on alerts, specifically distractions, and once again, lawsuits. Do you know how many tens of millions have been paid out due to driver distractions? Most companies only have insurance for the first $1 million. The rest comes from the employer. Now, it makes a lot of sense to me. And this is an issue that we need to keep discussing because it's something that we need to reflect on as commercial operations people. We are CDL, we're truck drivers. I'm old school. And, whoop, whoop, I'm going down the road. I, for one, will never ever put a camera in my truck. I may have a dash cam, my own personal one, but I'll never drive for a company that makes me put a cam up in my truck. I won't do it. I've got way too many miles, almost 5 million miles, 42 years, and I'm like, look, if I get into an accident, it's going to be because somebody pulled out in front of me. I don't mind putting a dash cam out there, but you're not going to babysit my ass, because that's not what trucking's all about. You give me the load, you shut your face, I will get to where I'm going safely, promptly, and as long as you dispatch that load properly, you're in good hands with me. Now look, we're the captains of our ship. Let's start acting like it. Once again, bring it back. And I'm going to do a story on CBs too, and why a lot of companies are not allowing drivers to have CBs. And you need to tell them to piss off, because if you don't get a CB, you don't need to work there. I'm Walter Gallen with Rolling 18, the podcast Trucker Briefing Room. We'll catch you next time.